To us, there's sort of four main ways for us to get into the two-man game. The one that I've been explaining so far has been when we have a short stick or a midfielder guarded by a short stick picking for an attackman. But there are a couple other ways. You can flip that around. One of the other ways would be for our attackman to pick for a midfielder guarded by a short stick. This situation can be particularly helpful if we know the other team is trying to maintain matchups. This defender playing an attackman here, he doesn't want to switch. He wants to remain on that attackman. Maybe there's a little ego involved on that defender. He doesn't want to allow his offensive player to make some plays against a short stick, and we can turn that around against them. Again, by setting the pick, again, moving before we set the pick, set it in a spot where this player is able to come up the field, and if we knew that was a situation, again, we're going to force contact. We would call this a big picking on a little situation as opposed to the little picking for the big in that last in what we've been doing for the most of the time here. Another situation that this can be effective is taking a long stick midfielder back behind the goal who is not particularly comfortable. So it doesn't always have to be a big little. It could be a big on big, but you're playing against a player who's not particularly comfortable playing back there. If this team is going to switch in these situations, again, now we're going to have our attackman being guarded by a short stick, so we put our best attackman here. He sets the pick, they switch. We're able to throw back, and we're now in a position to attack with our lead attackman going against a short stick. Another area that we can attack with the short stick is playing a two-man game, but we're not really going to use a pick. We feel we've got a good matchup back here, a midfielder against a short stick, a guy that we feel comfortable attacking from behind, and we just put our attackman in the front of the goal, being played by the defenseman here. We're still working a little two-man game. We're just doing it without the pick. And we like to call this a mirror situation, where this attackman in the front of the cage is going to mirror the movements of the midfielder behind. And when this midi dodges and picks aside, our attackman is just going to roll off and give us an outlet back behind the goal at X. If his man happened to slide while he was still in front of the goal, he becomes a scoring threat. But more often than not, he's going to end up back behind the cage as a throwback opportunity for us in that situation. And then the fourth situation, that we would look at, and we probably don't use as much, but if you have two strong dodging attackmen playing in a big situation, and what we mean by big is there's a long stick defender on that attackman, long stick defender on this attackman, and we still want to run the pick game. And now the reads are very, very similar. The disadvantage to doing this is it's easy for the defense to switch, and they maintain a long stick on the attackman matchup. But if you feel like maybe there's a third defenseman on another team who isn't going to be able to stay with your first attackman, you can create these kinds of situations to get those matchups. The advantage to doing this is if you can attack, again, two long sticks behind the goal, like mentioned in the introduction. Now you're taking two more poles out of the team defense in front of the cage. It will open up skip lanes, feeding lanes, and will allow you to pass the ball to the front of the goal a little bit.